Stocks LES 738 contracts. Prior NQ short validated.
Okay, looks like I'm streaming now. Let me know if you guys can hear me.
Prior NQ short validated. Prior NQ short retested.
Anybody in YouTube land, please let me know that you can hear me. Thank you, Cherie. I'll be back in a second. A minute, I should say. Oh, I want that one. Sorry. I want that one.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites or digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept sole responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment to Wholesale Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41. Hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account below is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results and all of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trade room and its webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific trade recommendations. The analysis and setups I share are trades and potential trades that I'm taking for myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this room is to teach traders how to identify specific areas to trade within edge for themselves, but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky, and if you do decide to follow my personal trades, you do so at your own risk and can potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and have routine drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and ATR values that help me pinpoint exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into the master spreadsheet as well as the prices to enter trades whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy the spreadsheet and enter in your own values and use mine to confirm zone prices until you're able to draw the zones correctly yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which way you personally decide to trade. Alright, good morning. Welcome to Bizarro World. Last few days, there's been some strange ass, you know what. Whipsaw City. Today so far, I got whipsawed out of crude. I was short, I was right, I got whipsawed. That's the way it goes sometimes. Something came out. Still haven't heard what it was, but something right here. I was short off of this buy ice event as a broken ice event. We'll go over these trades, or this trade, but I was short off of that. Something came out, all the liquidity pulled. I got swiped out of it, and then it went. So that sucks because I was short, and now there's a bunch of stuff down here. I haven't done anything right now. This last event has proved bullish, but for certain strategies, there's really nothing for me to go long right in this area. We'll go over that. An algo guy is bearish. This is an exponential moving average. This is what I use for confirmation for a couple of my strategies. Bark and lick. This has to be the direction of the volume event for me to take those trades, and that is a bearish algo guy right now. The blue is below the red, so I cannot go long off of this event. The only thing I might be able to do here, yeah, see it. We're in between. So this event is in between my inflection zones too. So what I'm looking for, I have my important areas that I'm looking for volume events, which are the most powerful thing I've ever seen in futures trading, to confirm my important areas, right? So I don't just trade these areas. Actually, this isn't an IZZY zone. I'm sorry. So this is why I make them different colors so they don't blend together. So this isn't an IZZY zone. So I could take an IZZY long here, which I will, because this is one of my areas. This is where this directional conviction started, held here, gapped up there. So I will take this long right now. I just didn't see that zone here. So coming to that price right now as we speak, 67.51. And this is IZZY. I will go long crude. Hopefully I don't get whipsawed out of this one too with the Phantom News. Alright, filled on that. So what I'm taking here is a broken ice setup. So the market came down, you had some stops, you had some buy ice. I actually could have gone long off of this one, I just didn't see that zone. I was not looking at it. This event came in as well. It never confirmed bearish. This is the zone drawing tool. We'll go over this. This is how I confirm whether these volume events are bullish or bearish if it can push an ATR outside of the zone. So this could not get an ATR below it. It did get an ATR above it. I enter out just outside of the ATR, so I am long. And I will be watching this area closely where this double whammy happened earlier. That swiped me out of my shorts before, so that starts rolling up there. So this is the zone drawing tool. I'll post this document here in a second, but you can get access to this. So the yellow line is where I enter. The yellow line is where I stop out. So 66.90 is my stop. If this turns out to be a wrong, a losing trade, I should say.
long validated.
And that's how I trade these, right? It's from just trading so many of these over the last 8 years. I have determined the best way to get in these trades so I don't get algoed out and you see the algos in here screwing with everybody. I get in, I force it to push outside of an ATR for my entry, and if I'm going to be wrong, it's got to come back that full ATR, it's got to get through the volume event, and it's got to push outside of an ATR to stop me out. That is what I'm willing to risk to see if the trade works. I am fully aware of R and controlling your risk. When you put on trades, you don't want to be risking a lot, but in this day and age, it's the only way that I've seen to be profitable where, so I don't get whipsawed out of these by these algos, and the algos are 80-90% of the trade, especially in this market, as you can see. So that's how I trade it. If you want to trade it otherwise, if you watch 10 million of these things and come up with a different strategy on these, then be my guest. But until you do, I would highly recommend that you listen to me because I've watched so many of them. All right, so we got a hold on a second here. Yes, we have a stop run here. This is actually one of my strategies, a sell stop run into algo guy, red ribbon. We just talked about algo guy. So this algo guy is currently bullish. You can see the blue ribbon, wrong color, is above the red. But one of my strategies, one of my important areas is our moves back into the red ribbon. You got these algos that love to play that move out of there. So we got a sell stop run, a Dumb and Dumber. Usually stop runs are the dumb money puke, which is usually a reversal type of setup. We do have trades for, it's called the stop and hold, one of my 6 distinct setups. If this holds and the big money comes behind it, but this, I don't know what this is yet because it hasn't moved out the ATR out of here like we just talked about, but I will take this trade aggressively out of here, meaning first move out. So some strategies I wait for the ATR, the retest, the confirm. We actually have a strategy. We have different trading strategies for the retest of the zone because it happens so often. But we're talking about position trading right now. I will wait. For this trade, I'm not going to wait for the retest confirm because certain areas are so powerful that it may not retest. So if this touches this price here, 58.17, I will go long red rum aggressively. And you can see above here, all this liquidity, very likely to get filled. So again, this is like a magnet. It's not, oh, look at these sellers up here, I want to get short. It's the opposite. It's, look at these sellers up here that have been here the entire time. The longer it's been in here, the more likely it's going to get tagged, the more likely these guys will push it into the orders. Meaning, if something comes out and this market rips right through there, they're willing to get filled. So that tells me they want the fill. That means they're going to get the fill because this is the big money. They will find a way to get it up here. I know that. Everything I'm teaching you guys is based on my experience as a large scalper back in the day when I was trading 10% of the world volume in the E-mini S&P every single day, flipping the order book, right? So that is where all my experience came with the volume. So I understand these volume events, which when I tell you that's the most powerful thing that I've ever seen, I understand these and how these concentrated areas of trade, aka traders loaded up, and how traders react when they're wrong. So that's all we're taking advantage of. We're taking advantage of areas where traders place their bets, and whoever's wrong, we have a method for trading that, and we take advantage of it. So anyway, algo guy is bullish. So if this moves out of here, first move, I'll take that trade. Let me put that in first. And we'll talk about. So that entry is at, you got to keep, so this is the zone drawing tool, again, I'll put this in a second. You got to keep adjusting because this is moving dynamically with the ATR. So you see the ATR right here, it's a 4.18 ATR. All that is a 5-minute Wilder's ATR, but it changes. Actually, it looks, no, it just changed right there. So you gotta keep changing your entry until you get filled. So see, it just popped up to 58.17. So the beauty of this zone drawing tool tells you the prices to get in, the prices to get out, and you can plug in your risk, and it tells you the exact size to trade. So I will post that here in a second. Let me put this in. It says red rum, trading strategy. 17. So that's an aggressive entry. And then if it goes, which it probably will because it does it almost every time, ATR retest confirm, then we will take barks, blind ATR retest confirm. So a bark is just any event, anywhere. I still want to trade it somehow if possible because the edge is inherent in the event.
Sell NG, 152 contracts.
I'm not trading NG right now. The number's coming out. I've been whipsawed enough today. So we just looked at that liquidity. So when I put on the bark and the lick are the same trade. I'm looking for ATR retest confirm. The difference is in the bark, I will get out at certain areas as the market makes money available to me. We'll go over those. The lick trade, I'm holding to the lick or bust. Bust meaning an opposing volume event. So that's what I'll do if that happens. So we're just waiting, and then I'm going to put on red rum if it moves out of here first move out in case it doesn't retest. So that is working. These markets have just been brutal, guys. Like, I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like, they've just done, like yesterday afternoon was just torture. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's just really odd trade lately. You know, we're at all-time highs. It's just not, it has not been a fun trade. So you got to go through you're going to have periods like this in your trading, right? Their markets, it's just, you know, things will normalize eventually, but right now there's just some weird crap going on, kind of like this Dow trade I put on earlier. This has happened to me probably 20 times in the last 2 or 3 days, where I put on a short here. We'll go over this. I think it was, I can't remember what it was now, but it was an Izzy short. I got filled to the exact tick. And then, so this is the yellow line I was just talking about. Put my stop in, got filled to the exact tick coming back. So it's like, that's how I started my day. That was after getting swiped out of the crude trade. So it's been very frustrating, very challenging. So talk about it all the time. If you have an edge, you just keep putting on your trades. If you should have a daily loss limit. If you hit your daily loss limit, it should be no more than 5 or 6% of your account if you're trading, you know, your living money that you're living on. And if you hit it, you just say it's just not the day today, right? You're gonna have days like that. You've got to accept it. So again, we're already into the trading of the zone document because I need to read this every day too because
50 out of 100 equaling neutral.
You know, I've been trading
the VIX currently up 0.32%.
I've been trading for 25 years, right? And I still get into periods where it feels like nothing's ever going to work again. Like, oh my God, what is this? It doesn't work. And you just have to, if you know you have an edge, which I do, this edge has worked for 8 years, doesn't mean it can't change or there's going to be variations of it. And we have changed with it a little bit. But I just know volume drives price. So there's nothing really going to change as far as the reaction to markets and volume events because that's what drives price. So you see, like I see guys on these, you know, different channels, Discord channels and stuff talking about price drives everything and blah, blah, blah. Price does not move without volume. So this is the driver. Yeah, you can play price stuff and, you know, all these lagging indicators and everything else, but this is the driver of trade. If there's no volume, the market doesn't move, right? So that's why I know that, you know, even if we have to make adjustments, you know, and we have over, like a good example is even in my course I talk about entering 110% of an ATR once it moves out. Well, we've changed that because I kept getting ticked like you saw in Dow, and it's starting to happen with 115%, but we have moved this over time, over the last 4 years, to 115% to get in of an ATR is the best is like the sweet spot, right? But it was all trial and error. First, I would get in right when it broke out of the zone, and I would get whipsawed to death, and then I would wait for 50% of an ATR, then 75, then full ATR, and that kept happening. So right now, that is the best method. If I keep getting stopped to the exact tick,
Treasury Secretary
I'm not talking over a few days. If it just keeps happening over months, then we'll have to adjust it again. But this is trading. You got to be ready to adjust your stuff because nothing ever lasts. Take it from me. You guys know my story. I was a multi-million-dollar scalper. I thought it was going to last forever. Overnight, I made millions and millions of dollars. Overnight, couldn't make a dollar. It was over. With these algos that took over, this was like 2005, 2006. Right? So as much as you want it to last forever, it's not going to last forever. So what I do know it's going to last forever is volume drives markets. So that's what I'm trying to get at there. That's the trading firm. So we got the reversion trade working at a trading firm, and I have that open. I'm trading my position. Trading's my hand there too. I haven't done anything there today, thank God. Anyway, so this is what I'm talking about. If you have an edge, you just continue to put the trade on. This is directly out of trading in the zone.
Be an expectation.
We're going to trade the edge like a casino, right? So the point is, there's going to be times, just like in a casino. The casino comes in and a whale, wipes them out in a given night, a given weekend, and they lose hand after hand after hand. But they know over the long run, the math is AK edge is in their favor. They just keep dealing the cards, and eventually it normalizes. It's the same with trading. So you just keep putting on the trades. If you hit your loss limit for the day, you're done. Back tomorrow. Right, so it's easier said than done. Trust me, I know, but that's all I can really tell you. And you'd be wise to read that document every day. Again, it's a prerequisite of my trade room. You have to have it tattooed to your forehead, or read it every morning before you start trading. So if you come to my trade room,
and Yellen says over time, if we stay on that path, rates will decline to the neutral rate.
All right. So the other thing we got going on today, bunch of Fed dudes talking as usual. There's already been a few. Powell was one of them. So you can see here, this is one of my...
So at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we get our weekly EIA natural gas change forecast 52 BCF. The prior build 58 BCF. We also expect comments from Fed Spark.
This guy talking, this is the squawk channel. So you can see there's already been... We had the number, then you had that dude, you got ECB guy, another Fed guy. Paul was in here somewhere too, I don't know where he went, but you got another one here, some more ECB here, another Fed guy here. This is after the market, but the point is, it's, you got to decide if you're going to trade when they're talking. It's like a number coming out every word out of their mouth. So you got to accept the whipsaws that may happen with them talking. So. There's some traders that won't even trade during Fed talk. It's probably the best.
Yellen says it will be necessary to get deficits.
Oh, now we got a Yellen talking too. That's not listed either. So, all right. So these markets are just sitting in these zones. Again, it's been like this for days on end. This type of trade, it's been absolutely brutal. So we're just waiting to see. Again, I don't know what I'm doing with this event. If this turns bearish, then there's potential things I can do on the bearish side. We are at all-time highs. Just look at this. I mean, there's really nothing here as far as an important area because we're at all-time highs, right? So I don't have an easy inflection zone. I mean, I could draw one soon, depending on what happens here. But nothing for that. There's nothing market profile composite because we're at all-time highs. So there's nothing really for me short here until Algo Guy flips and I can possibly put on barks and licks. Let's take a look here. That's NASDAQ. NASDAQ's not at all-time highs, but actually I got to go back and put some market profile composites in. It's just, it resets when I switch months. When I switch to December, I got to go back and put those in. So this was yesterday's trade.
Stocks sell NQ, 151 contracts.
What's going on real time here? NQ. So NQ is bearish right now, right? As far as algo guys. So there are strategies I can put on right now. I possibly could already put one on. We'll see here. So you can see the blue ribbon, the shorter term exponential moving average is below the red. So that is a signal or a green light for a couple of my different strategies. Yeah, so I could already been short here. I just missed it because this is the start of the webinar and I just was not paying attention here. This was a stop run. It got to the ATR right there. Here's your retest, surprise, surprise. And I could be short right there. So if that comes back, like right now, I'm going to put that on because now there's no
10:30
event.
a.m. Eastern time.
And I can trail my stop to that.
Gas change. Forecast
Let me
build
put
of
this in
52
real quick.
BCF.
So I'm going to put on Barks and
prior
Licks if
build
this
of
pops back to
58 BCF. We also expect comments from Fed Spar, who will give remarks at the 10th annual
right here,
US
sorry.
Treasury Market Conference.
So I could have just got
Text
in
is
right there.
expected, as well as
23,
Q&A.
23,
Validated.
325. You can see in the bottom left there. If it pops back up there, I'm going to put that on.
College
I'm talking
on
over this
artificial
guy. It won't
intelligence
shut
and
up.
workforce development. No text is expected, but there will be a Q&A.
So I'm not going to chase it, right? If I miss this one, there's another event already fired off. So I'll put it on. I'll put on new trades on if off of this new event potentially. So give me a second here. Let me put this stuff in. 83.25, and I'm sure it's going to be a real blast being short these markets. But again, you know, I do my best not to trade how I feel. I have my strategies and my system and my trading rules, and I just put the trade on. It feels terrible being short up here because it just keeps going up. But we got the event. Actually, this one, it did what I wanted it to do. So if that pops back here, that will take a short.
Yellen
Otherwise,
says inflation remains
I could take a
top
short
side
off of
in
this
its
recent one.
administration priority, but
That
it
just
is
fired
down
off. I could actually still take a
considerably.
short off
Wages
of this
are
guy
rising.
too here. So you can see how, like on a trending day, you can have multiple positions on, and all the way I do it is I always default to the most recent event, so I can trail my stop. I should have been short that. Then this comes in. If that goes ATR, which it just did, retest confirm, I can add to those off of this event and move my stop down. And now this came in, and I can add more. So you can see days that you get trending event, you can keep putting on, you can have 4, 5, 6 positions on, and all you're really doing is trailing the last stop, or trailing your stop to the last event, right? So this event just confirmed bearish too. So you can see it in the prior yellow
Yellen
line
says
here,
ties with
right?
China
So I'm
have
talking about
gotten
this one.
closer. We have found
So I already have this order
ways
working
to
up here. If it
discuss
pops back to
differences.
83, it's real close. I should just jump in here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait. I don't need to chase it because there's always another event right around the corner, right? So that just confirmed. So if that does this, I can put on that one in case I don't get filled on that. Or even if I get filled on this first one, I'm going to put on that one, and then I can potentially put on that one. So it should be a blast being short three different positions in these markets. So I'll keep an eye on that. And then ES still hasn't shown its hand out of here. Let's look at what algo guy looks like. If you guys got questions, throw them in probably YouTube today. I think there's more people on YouTube than there is in why the same 16 people are waiting. So hopefully you guys can see it on YouTube. Let's see what's going on here. And the other thing we want to keep an eye on, so it's a new trace indicator. You guys have seen these. He's been advertising. He's done a couple webinars. You can see here this is a potential support level based on this is 0 date to expiration stuff here. Again, I don't know enough about this yet, but that's a big level there. And then you got more
short
down here
validated.
that this could hold. You know, these are just one player. These options dealers are just one player in the markets. Not most days, but a lot of days they are the only game in town. So it behooves you to watch it. This is the longer term stuff here. About the same. And then these are the different things you can be looking at. Let's see here. Gamma is basically the rate of change in the market. Delta. So there's not a lot of support here besides the 0 date to expiration.
1 minute remaining. I'll lead with the EIA
There it
natural
is.
gas.
So I didn't get filled on that. I should have just jumped in this. I missed that one
US
too.
10-year
So
Treasury yields
this is
have
already.
gains to 3
So
spot
here's the
1%
issue, right? So when I get in
since
trades,
September
if I
4th.
were to be getting out, and there's a very good chance I would already be getting out of some of these that I just missed that trade. Well, I'm not gonna put it on when it comes back because I would already been out of some, right? So let's see if I would have been out. This is already a good move. This is a 50-point move that I just missed. Of course, it couldn't fill me. Couldn't just jump up there and fill me like it does to stop me out all the time. That's just me bitching because it's been very challenging lately. I literally was like sitting right here and I didn't get the fill. But it's my own fault too. I missed the trade, so I can't bitch too much. But it's pretty annoying. Very annoying trade. All right, so here's the other thing too. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. So I am not. I didn't even realize we're right here. This is the blue lug. So this is the second most powerful thing I've ever seen in trading in my 25 years. Are these Ludwig levels? So this we're at the blue lug support level. I'd be out of this trade right now. I take my 50 points or my 40 points and run. Right. So I'm not putting on that trade. I'm going to cancel that I missed. Sucks. I missed a nice winner. That's the way it goes. Bark and lick. Hopefully my room caught it. I know some of my room was short from way high, even though it wasn't actually an official event, but
This is over $1
held
trillion
it to the lug, so
as
that was a
one
nice
of the
trade.
discount windows since 2023.
And then as far as these other ones, now I'm going to wait because I'm not going to short into especially in this market environment, I'm not shorting into the blue lug, right? So remember I just said I was going to put one on off of that one, off of that one. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to wait. If it builds new lugs lower, I'm going to show you an example of what happened earlier, how you can come up with the thesis that this was going to happen. Sorry, that's the algo firing off at the trading firm. Forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, I'm not shorting into the blue lug. So if this forms new lugs, then I'll be happy to short it. So here we are. So this was a good example of we come up with a thesis based on structure, based on market profile composites, and the Ludwig levels. So as this moved higher this morning, it built new lugs to the upside. Well, if the market's truly bullish, it should hold prior red, which was the resistance, now support, and the new directional yellow. Then you expect red. If it can't, then you expect blue. This is just to come up with a thesis. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So there's days that when all the theses match up, like the market profile is bearish, the lugs are bearish, the structure stuff, meaning this stuff, is bearish. Then that thesis, it's go time, and I'll trade double or triple size, right? So there was nothing really structure up here, and it didn't get to this prior zone either. But so I am looking forward to a move. We're into this Izzy zone right now. So if I got a bullish event, I'm going to take an Izzy long. So this was a resistance zone. It gapped right through here, and now where we are back to it, right? So if I got a volume event right now, I would take an Izzy long aggressively. I would take a slug or a I lug you long if there's a volume event into the lug. There's nothing to do yet. So you see we're at important areas. My important areas, I haven't put a trade on. Why? Because my driver are the SI events. So until I get a bullish SI event, I'm not doing anything here. So I'll just wait and see. Yes, may have validated to the short side here. Nope, not yet. So the great thing about this zone drawing tool, it'll let you know. Look at all the stuff going on in natural gas after the number. So it'll let you know when this confirms. In case you're not watching it, it'll tell you. Bring this over here, and let me post this in the room. We'll go over all this like we always do on these Bookmap webinars. All right, so someone's asking, what are those levels again? So these levels are, first of all, you have this, again, I just posted, that's the first thing in the document is the zone drawing tool. You can get that at the Bookmap marketplace, right? So what this is this spreadsheet that I've used forever, right? That's all on the heat map, right? So let's, on the zone drawing tool. So let's just plug this in for an example here, right? So this zone was 58.12 to 58.07 quarter. So you plug that in. And you get the spreadsheet also as part of my trade room. And you can get it as a subscription too. We'll talk about that. But all this is the spreadsheet on the heat map. 58.07 quarter. I'm really glad I missed that short in NASDAQ. First selling we've seen in, it feels like a year. And then you put the current ATR in. Very important. That's telling you the volatility. You can see right now it's 4.43.
Soybeans iceberg buys ES 200 contracts.
So these lines are these levels you see here. All right. This is hard for me to move this over this way. All right, so to confirm whether this is a bullish or bearish event, that's the ATR line. That's where you validate, that's what this is, 1 ATR validation price. So to the upside, and this is changing a little bit because of the ATRs changing, right? But you can see 16 quarter, this is saying 1650. It's just because it's dynamically changing. So if that got up to this long, see where it says long validation, that's the ATR, the current ATR. So if it touches that, that makes this a bullish event. If it touches this is saying right now, hold on, it's in the bottom left here, you can see it. 5802.75. So if you go to the other side of the spreadsheet here, 5802.75. That validates, that tells me which way this event, whether it's a bullish or bearish event. That is how I determine, after watching so many of these over 8 years, the best way to determine if this is a bullish or bearish event. So it hasn't touched the short yet, it hasn't touched the long yet. I still don't know what this is. And then you see, if I'm going to enter, here's my entry price. If I want to go long off of this event, 58.17, there you go, 58.17. If I want to go short, 58.02 quarter, 58.02 quarter, right? And then, so that the entry is the stop price. So if I go long, my stop price is the entry price that I would have shorted. It's just the yellow line on the other side of the on the drawing tool, right? And if I go short, my stop is at that price. So that is pushing, again, I'm forcing, that's these yellow lines here on the zone drawing tool. So again, for me to be wrong, we've already talked about this, I'm forcing these markets. I don't just get in and say, when I short a yes, or when I trade a yes, I love to risk 2 points to make 5. You're good luck. Over the long run, you're not going to make money that way, I can promise you, right? Just because of the nature of these markets. You see the algos in here. When it looks like a Christmas tree, these are algos running you ragged. If you're just going to put orders in, yeah, you're going to get lucky once in a while. You put it in, you risk 2 points, and you get a whopping move. But algos are 80-90% of the market. So 80-90% of the time, you're going to get whipsawed out of the trade. So the best method that I've determined from watching so many of these, once again, if I take a short, I'm forcing this to come back the ATR, to get through the zone, push another ATR out of the zone, and that helps me the best I can avoid Algo City. So once again, you can trade these however you want. This is the edge. If you find a better way, and you show me some results over a long period, kind of like 8 years, that it works, I'm all ears, right? We just talked about, being ready to trade, not change your trading, but adapt, right? If you show me a better way to trade these, I'm all ears. So, I would love to put on a trade and only risk 2 points to make 20. But in this environment, in this day and age, it's just the nature of trade. It's all algos. So this is the best way to avoid the algos. All right, so this never got down to this confirmation of the downside. So my long is still working here. What was it? Red rum. Excuse me. Let's see if that's still valid. This is just hanging in the middle of nowhere. We've never been up here, so that's this red ribbon. So that's the only strategy I got working right now. If it did confirm, we already talked about this, but it's been a while. If this tags that, I'll put on bark and lick longs. That is the trade that I just missed going the other way in NASDAQ. So you can see here, by the way, there was no event here, but this is why I would have been out of those shorts if I got them on. You see where this bounced. I don't know if I mentioned these before. A magical lugs. Lugs is short for Ludwig level. Went a little bit below it, right back up. I doubt it formed new ones. Did not form new ones. And this is actually, if you watch the webinar, it's in my Discord channel and the Bookmap channel, and it's in my trading room too. Just scroll up and look in the pinned messages. You can watch the webinar I did with her like 3 years ago. Her meaning Pamela Ludwig. She's the developer of these. One of her favorite setups, without Bookmap, without anything else. She's been using these for 20 years. She's been around as a business for like 15 years.
Icebergs sell GC.
One of her favorite
156 contracts.
trades is when the market moves below these major lugs. She calls them big blue and big red, and it doesn't have the conditions to form new ones, and then it gets above. You usually get a rip. So you can use that as a thesis too. You know, we already have a trade for the Ludwig level, but I'm just waiting for a volume. But I didn't get anything. I know how powerful the lugs are. I still don't take the trade, aka my important area, until I see a volume event. If it rips, it rips. That's just how I trade, because I know these are the most important things you can be using in your trading, in my trading. So I did nothing there. It did bounce off, but I would have been out of that short, and I cost myself about 40, 50 points. So that's not cool. All right, we got something in gold. Gold's been a LB, as Madam Shizzle says. You guys can figure out what LB means, little B word, lately. And so is crude. Both those markets have just been whipsaw city. So I got whipsawed out of a trade this morning. I took this one and got in pretty much right at the end and then stopped out. So guys, this is trading. You've got to just keep putting on. We've already talked about this, right? So new event here, sell ice. Gold's at all-time highs too. So it's just a weird environment right now, right? You're at all-time highs in ES, all-time highs in gold, pretty close now. You know, it's just a weird time to be trading, and you gotta roll with it. You gotta roll with the punches, as my grandpa used to say. So I did mark this zone earlier, this inflection zone. So this is where this market gapped up this morning. Directional conviction down. It is back. So if I got, this is a move out of the Izzy inflection zone back into it. If this volume event turns bearish, I'll take it. That's one strategy. That's the Izzy strategy. So when I'm talking about strategy, these are all listed. This is all part of my trade room. You can get these, and I go over them every day, right? I have multiple strategies that I look at. If you come in there, it's not for you to trade every one of these, right? Until you get the bandwidth. Pick 1, 2, or 3. Get really good at them, and then add another one, right? So anyway, this is the Izzy trade. Aggressive entry most times. There are variations, meaning the first move out of the volume event I'm getting in. Take fade trades with moves into prior inflection zones. That's it, right? So this is the inflection zone. This is a move into the inflection zone. This is a volume event. If it turns bearish, I'm going to take a short. Yes, I'm going to short gold, which should be delightful at all-time highs. Should I already be in this trade too? Why am I not seeing the, what's going on here? Oh, it's way down here, that's why. Yeah, because the ATR is 43 right now. That means, you just move the decimal point. It means it's rotating 43 ticks every 5 minutes. So if I'm going to go short this Izzy, here's my entry. We just went over why I do this. My position's in here. That's the great thing about this zone drawing tool. You come in, you add in your capital, what you want to risk. I'm risking 10% on these Apex accounts. We'll go over Apex. If you're risking money that you're living on, do not be trading 10%. You will blow out your account. I promise. Eventually. 2686.1. I can put on 0.5 of a big contract. Obviously you can't, so I'm going to put on 5 micros. Guys, there's nothing wrong with trading micros. Right? It allows you to not have to, if you're like, well, I just trade the big ones. Well, in this case, if you can only risk this amount on the trade, $500, you either can't put the trade on, or you put it on and you're over trading your account, right? For your risk tolerance. And as the market moves in your favor, it's all or nothing. You get out and you're done. When you trade micros, you can get out of 2, you can get out of 1, you can get out of another 2. You see what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with trading micros, and any educator that tells you there is an idiot. And you can tell them I said that. All right, 2686 is my entry. All right, that's working. Gold short, Izzy short. This algo guy for other strategies here in gold is bullish, so I cannot put on Barks and Licks right now. If this event turns out to be a bullish event, then I have strategies that I could put on for that. Right? So as long as this doesn't tag the ATR line, I don't know what this is yet. So if this turns bullish, I can put on Barks and Licks. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Nuria says, if we follow only stop reverse strategy, Dumb and Dumber is at a profitable in the long run. Every one of these is profitable in the long run, guys. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. This edge is profitable. You've got to be consistent. You got to take as many as you can, just like a casino has to keep dealing cards to utilize the edge. So yes, if you just traded Dumb and Dumbers, that's what we call them. So this is what I'm referring to when I'm talking about these events. I have names for each event, right? So this is my trading course. You can get it on the Bookmap Marketplace. It's in that document too, or you can get it at my website, right? So when I'm talking about these, it's these. We have 6 distinct events. Dumb and Dumber, right? Dumb and Dumber is when you get the stop run and it rejects. Stop and hold. We saw stop and hold earlier that I missed because it was right at the beginning of the webinar. This was a stop and hold earlier. So what's a stop and hold? It's when you get the stop runs that hold. These are all very technical terms that I use. Not, just kidding. When you get stop runs that hold and the big money comes behind it, because usually these things reject more often than not. That's the Dumb and Dumber, but sometimes they hold. So I did miss that stop and hold trade, the bark and the lick that we already talked about, right? So these events were stop and holds. Sell stops, sell stops, sell stops. They all held and kept going lower. That just tells you that, stop runs are usually retail traders puking, so that's why it's such a great fade trade. But there's times that there's big money behind it, and that's why it doesn't reject. So it's all determined by if it can push an ATR out of there. So then we got Dumb and Dumber, stop and hold, Titanic. That's just if you get buy ice and the market holds long, that's a Titanic. If you get sell ice and the market holds short, it's a Titanic. Broken ice is when the big money comes in and they're wrong, right? So right now, just give you some examples here. If this sell ice event holds in gold, this would be a Titanic, and that's what I'm taking the shorts off of. If this turns out to be a bullish event, well, then it'd be broken ice. Paper, the big money is right more than they're wrong, but they're not always right, and you never know what they're doing. They could be hedging. They could be getting out of positions. It doesn't matter. Just trust me. Just the area is what matters. There's always somebody on the other side of the trade. We're looking for these events, these concentrated volume events, and we're taking advantage when it moves away. That's all we're doing. We have names for these. And like I said, paper is right more often than they're wrong, but they are not always right. When this first came out, you had these Bookmap detractors that think they're competitors. They're not even anyone. No one's even near Bookmap as far as a competitor, but they were trying to besmirch or belittle what I was saying, well, just because they're icebergs, you don't just jump in and buy if it's a buy iceberg. I've never said that since day one. I said, so that this, by the way, is a Dumb and Dumber and crude. I said that yes, the buy ice or the big money's wrong or right more often than wrong just because of the big money. Just think about it. We see it all the time, like in ES. We saw it like before this rip, like last week. The market would come down, buy ice. Buy ice, buy ice, buy ice. Well, eventually the market's going to, if someone's in here that has 50,000 contracts that behind them, they're going to hold the market, at least temporarily, right? But they're not always right. So how do you determine that? If it can push an ATR out of there. All right, so now this is an official short setup for ES, but there's just, I take that back. Let's see, this might be pulling now. Not quite, but we'll see what happens here. If this pulls, we actually have a trade for when this crosses too. It's called HAL. It's now heavy algo guide cross. That's this trading strategy. Algo guide cross with heavy relative volume. I need to see the heavy relative volume or I don't take that trade. Right now, there's not heavy relative volume. You can see here, right? So that trade is off the table just for that one strategy, right? So I can't take that strategy. Fine. There's other strategies I potentially could take short. We might be getting some new lugs here. It did do it bounce the first time. Guys, here's another example, right? That's just why I didn't. We don't have new lugs yet, but that's why I don't take the trade. Yeah, those are second most powerful thing I've ever seen. But guess what? And now it came back and went right through it. But did you see me go long? No, because there was no volume event down here. There's still not a volume event. So I just sit here. I already missed my trade. I'm gonna bitch about that the whole webinar, and now I wait. All right. So if this crosses, I could possibly take barks or licks off of this. We'll keep an eye on it. You already got your ATR. Here's your retest. This is the other trade that we're doing in the room. A lot of people are taking this trade. This is the trade you heard those fills firing off. I have this working at a trading firm too because it's very labor intensive. if you're gonna scalp, this is the best way to scalp in my opinion. This is the reversion trade. So these are these lines, right? I don't take these on the webinars. I can't keep up with them. I can barely keep up with the position trading. As you saw, I don't know if I mentioned that I missed the NASDAQ trade earlier.
ICS, 250 contracts.
There's soybean stuff too. We'll go over there in a second. But that's this part of the spreadsheet. So again, if you come in my room, this
That's
is what
11
it looks
a.m. Eastern time. We get Kansas City.
You can
Fed
get this
Confidence
spreadsheet
Index,
too, or the
prime
zone drawer. It's the same
industry,
stuff on the
Kansas
zone
City Fed
drawing tool.
manufacturing,
This is
prior
for the
six.
position trading strategies, where we're looking for bigger moves. This is the reversion trade, right? So you can see here, I didn't put the current zone in this one, but that's for the ATRs, long or short. What's that? It's what you just saw happen here. This was the one ATR. So if you're trading the reversion strategy, all we're doing is playing the ridiculous propensity for these markets to come back to the volume events. It's insane. It happens non-stop all day in every market, right? Either the 1 or the 2 or the 3. Which one? I don't know. That's why if you're going to pick one, all I know is, and I've said it since day one with these things, that I know the propensity for these markets to come back to these volume events are at least 70%. I think it's probably more than that. It's probably 80%. What you don't know is how far will it go before it comes back to the volume event, before it forms a new volume event, right? So the sweet spots that I've seen, again, over 8 years of watching thousands and thousands of these, are the 1, the 2, the 3. You don't know which one's going to work, so if you're going to pick one, I don't know if I mentioned this, you play the probabilities and you just keep putting them on and putting them on, putting them on, kind of like dealing hands as a casino, right? So if I took the 1 here, winner. I think it's a winner. Hold on. Yeah. So that was right here. It's insanity how often this happens, right? Right here. So this dotted line is the 1 ATR. Right back to the zone, tags the zone exactly. It doesn't actually have to tag the zone. This is what this line is. It's 10% of an ATR in front of the zone. That's all that is. There you go. So I'm not putting on, oh, I could maybe put on Barks Elixir. So now I'm back to talking about my position trading strategy. I don't want to confuse you guys. I'm just showing you the different options you have. This still is not pulled. I'm not putting this on yet. So, for some reason, if this goes lower, you're probably going to get another volume event anyway. But say this goes lower, algo guy pulls, I'll possibly put that trade on as it comes back to the entry that I should be entering right now. If I wanted to put it on right now, I could put it on right here, 58.01. I'm going to wait. Learn my lesson lately, trying to skirt the rules to short these things. Get your ass handed to you. All right, what else do I got going here? Oh, wasn't I long crude? What did I do in crude? Hold on. Gotta look here. Yeah, I was long crude. So what? I just made a mistake here. So remember, we got long here. This is right at the beginning. It feels like literally 3 weeks ago. So new event. I was long. New event. I'm out of this trade. Hold on. This is like the first thing I did. All right, so I'm out. Remember, we went long this event in this Izzy zone. Right here. It literally feels like this was like yesterday. This is the beginning of the webinar. This is the first trade I put on. All right, here. Izzy zone, inflection zone. Remember, I made a mistake with the zones. I didn't think it was, just because this is why I color them. There's no significance in the colors, guys, besides trying to separate them. This one I didn't, because you had a white one here. I didn't do it because then there would be back-to-back whites. But anyway, this was the Izzy zone right here, inflection zone, an important zone where something happened. We already talked about this. There was the volume event. That was a broken ice setup. I went long. This is all in the beginning of the webinar. Go watch it when you get the replay. You can see what I'm talking about. This was an aggressive entry. Remember, I said I'm not waiting for a retest, and I would have never been filled on this trade if I waited for a retest. That's why I get in aggressively. It tried, never came back. So now the reason I just got out of that is because this is when I get out of my full position is when I see an opposing volume event, right? I'm not going to hold on to some if I see a bearish event. Well, you can see here, I just got lucky. I almost missed this because I wasn't watching this. New event, turned bearish. This is the exit, the yellow line. Tagged it, of course, to the tick, and I'm out. So that was a decent trade. It was a 35 tick trade. So fine. Guys, I don't know how far it's going to go. This could have kept going. If I see an opposing event, this is actually now a bearish event. So now there's stuff I can do off of this event. Let's see. It was very nice of crew to just sit here and wait for me. This isn't Izzy short. I should already be in this trade. Why? move back into that zone. This zone has already led to directional conviction today, but it was already here from other stuff, right? So the farther the zones go back, the more important they are as far as they still have significance. So anyway, here's a move into the Izzy. That's one trading strategy, Izzy. Let's see what else we got. What are my other areas? Market profile composite.
That's 11 a.m. Eastern time. We get Kansas City Fed Composite Index forecast -5 on the prior -3, and Kansas
Here you
City
go.
Fed
It's a pick trade.
Prior 6.
It's a pick trade. Profiles encourage. Right here. Take any trade that moves into or out of a market profile composite high or low. So that is this.
S&P stocks LES.
I guess I should have put on the Barks and Licks and ES. I'm fine with it. That was my decision. You could have put those on. Algo Guy just wasn't pulling it. It's pulling now, though. Hold on. I just got a flow alert and spot gamma, too. All right, so now I got too much going on here. All right, if this comes back, I want to short Izzy and pick 67.80. I'm going to do this quickly. I'll head to ES. I could put on 8. This is my entry. I should already be in this trade. So a lot of people are like, well, if you can get it, if you already should be in, why are you getting it right here? You're saving yourself 20 ticks, because I feel like, especially the way it's been going lately, that I didn't get filled, and I just feel like I got away with something. If it comes back, then I'll put it on. If not, I'm not chasing. I'm not putting it on up here. If it comes back, I'll put it on. You can see how ridiculous these areas are, these lines. Like, it has been uncanny how many times all these markets are tagging this exact line. You know why? Because I got a camera in my office, and they know what I'm doing, and they're doing opposite. That's why. I'm being facetious, but that's how it's felt lately. All right, I'm going to put on Izzy and pick. If that comes back, I'm already out of my long. Now I'm going to flip short if it comes back. Izzy, pick. All right, those are working. We'll keep an eye on that. We should have new lugs, and if we don't have new lugs by now in NQ, then there's something wrong with the lugs. They're not updating. There you go, new lugs. So now keep an eye on NASDAQ here. It's not quite there. This is yesterday's. I'm not saying that's not important. That's yesterday's high. Value area high. Value area is just where 70% of the trade occurred on the day. But my area, the most important areas, are these composites. That's when you merge days. So this is multi-day. So keep an eye. That's right around 2160. These are the best picks, the best Izzies when you have straight moves into these things. So you get a volume event there, I will not hesitate to take that long out of there. And that'll pretty much, no, actually blue lugs down here. And or blue lug. You do have baby lug that's close to that. That's just another lug. They're not, these baby lugs, these are these guys. They're not as powerful as the major lugs, the red and the blue, but they're still, I don't trade them up independently, but if they're confluent with something, like that one pretty much is, then, you know, it makes the area even better. So watch for that. Let's see what we got going here. Actually, this needs to be merged, so this is a great example, right? So this was yesterday's trade in ES. Value area overlapped this composite, which was already multiple day value areas. So I'm going to merge that, and it will adjust probably just a little bit. Merge with prior profile. There you go, and here we are right now. So if I got an event right now, bullish, I will take a pick trade long. But you don't, this is one of my important areas. Do you see me jumping in long? No, I need a volume event. That's how I trade, because these are the, and there you go. I didn't hear this. So here's your stop run. If this holds, I'm going to take a pick long. There's your price, 5802.75. I can put on 0.6. I don't have any kind of thesis, meaning I'm not going to trade double size. I mean, markets are ridiculously bullish. They bungee jump every single time. So if you want to take double size longs, be my guest. I'm just going to take normal size, because I always want these markets to get punished because it's so ridiculous fundamentally what's going on. But it is what it is. The markets don't care what I think. The markets do what they're going to do, right? So my opinion doesn't really matter. 5802.75. I'll put on 6. This is pick.
Kansas City.
This is probably an Izzy too. We'll look at that. So hopefully you guys are following what I'm doing as far as these important areas. These are my important areas. You may have completely set, and you probably do, separate important areas or different important areas. Fine. What did this happen there? Oh, that's great stuff. Just what I'm telling you, if you're already if you do well trading, if you had this information, you do 10 times better. That's all I'm telling you, because this is what drives the markets. I don't know if I mentioned that. All right, so I will take those longs if this turns out to be a long setup. On the short side, I could take barks and licks, but again, I don't want to really enter into the blue lug because I know how ridiculously powerful they are. But this is what I was waiting for. This is why I could have taken that first short, and then see it's crossing right now. So say you did get short there, and you're like, screw that, Scott. I'm getting short. This is the first. We're finally going to sell off. My stuff's freezing up. Give it a second. Right. So say you went short this. You did get the ATR, the retest, the confirm. Actually, it was this right here.
US to sell $48 billion into.
Now you trade your stop to the newest event. So if it pops back, you basically scratch the trade. If it keeps going, you can add barks and licks to that guy. Let's see what's going on in the hero. I'm feeling this is driving this as usual. So we already talked about this look. Like it didn't look like there was a lot of support here. You did get through this 0 date to expiration area.
150
This is the new trace indicator. I'm not going to pretend like I still need way more time with this thing. So go to his YouTube channel. He's been doing these every day. I think he's got one today coming up too. All right, so I'm not really seeing, you're not really in the blue land here as far as support, and there's not a lot of big strikes with options. So this thing could keep free falling as far as options are concerned. Hero, this is what we've been using for a while. All this is showing you the deal. So the dealers get loaded up with options. They got to turn around and hedge with futures. So whatever way this is sloping, that's the way the dealers are basically unloading their supply or their hedges. So that's obviously at its lows, and then next 7 is this is the real driver most days. That's on its lows too. So and the market's following. All right, let's see how close we are to the lug. That's down at 80. So this, I have no problem taking a long here if this holds. These are the best picks in Izzy's when you get these huge, long, elongated moves right into these important areas. We got the volume event. I'll take it. That trade is working. As long as this doesn't confirm short. There's the short. Look at the bottom left, 57.87 quarter. If it confirms short, I can't take longs per my rules. Did I already put this in? Any questions? Throw them in YouTube.
GC short validated.
So 0250, I could put on 6.
Manufacturing coming in at -18, -18, and Kansas City Fed Composite.
Right, what was I doing here in GC? I can't remember what I was going to do here. Oh, is he short, right? Why did I not get filled? I haven't been filled yet. And I got to adjust this, right? Remember I said you got to change this. It was 26.86. It's moved up to 28.86.6. You change it till you're filled. And it's about to fill right now. Remember, that was this trade. Fill gold short. Market moved out of here. Here's the Izzy zone I'm talking about. Wrong color. Market moved out, back in, volume event, sell ice in this case, a Titanic event. Shorted it. Should be a real blast being short gold at all-time highs. Crude, I'm still working, and you got a new event here too. So I'm going to leave my original fill that we just talked about, but I can actually move my stop a little bit because if I get filled on these, my original stop, you see the yellow line up here for these shorts I'm about to put on, maybe, it's going to be here. Well, now you got a new volume event, I can move my stop to there. That's how I trail my stop. I don't trail my stop some random area because I don't want to lose or I want to break even or whatever else ridiculous concepts traders use, and why 95% of traders fail is because it's stupid crap like that where you're imposing your will on the market. I trail my stop based on what happens on the market, and I highly recommend you do too. All right, let's see if you guys get any
The S&P
questions.
500 now up 0.2%. And
I feel like I've been on this
Nasdaq up
webinar for 6 hours.
0.1%.
World, I explained those levels. Hopefully you understood it. Dominique, K. Scott, thank you for everything you do. Would love to watch a documentary about you one day. You're very inspirational to me. Thank you, Dominique. Hey, someone said something nice about me. That's kind of cool. You should see some of the jackasses that come out of the woodwork when I do these webinars. Oh, you're talking. This one guy keeps texting me every time. Oh, you're talking about being a millionaire again. It's like, no, dude, I actually talk about how I was a millionaire and I'm not anymore. So there's a saying out there, there's nothing worse than having money and losing it versus never having money at all, right? Because when you have money and then you don't have it anymore, you know what it feels like. When you don't have it, you never had it, and you don't know what you're missing, right? So, guys, when I talk about my past, it's not bragging. I'm telling you, I'm telling you I'm a normal person, a normal trader that went through the highs and the lows of trading, and I'm still in here fighting because of this. And I tell this story mostly on these webinars because there's always new traders. I got knocked out of the business. I made $15 million in 3 years, 2002 to 2005. Overnight, couldn't make a dollar. Spent 8 years, 8 years trying to develop a new system to even compete. No, at best I was a break-even trader, right? Had to get out of the business. 2013, had to go into medical sales. Had to sit in doctors' offices and kiss the doctors' asses that treated me like shit. Pardon my language. And I just wanted to tell every one of them, I made more money in 3 years than you're probably making your entire career, right? But I had to sit there and just take it from them because now I'm a sales rep. Nothing wrong with being a sales rep. That's what I had to do, right? The point is, there was a saying with my wife too, and my wife that I'm still with, she's been with me through the whole ordeal. It was funny back then. It was funny until it wasn't funny anymore. I said, you married Superman and you got Clark Kent, right? It's because I was a multimillionaire, and then it was funny at first, and then it wasn't funny after a while. After about 8 years, it wasn't so funny anymore, that saying. But anyway, I had to go into medical sales. Then around 2017, 2018, Dr. Brett Steenbarger. Might as well just go right into the segue while we're waiting for these markets to do something. You got some sell ice here too. I'm still working my pick long here. If that moves out of here, you got more crude stuff too. Anyway, great segue for this. Again, go here, go to my website, so you can see this. This book right here, Dr. Brett Steenbarger. He was at my trading firm for a couple years, right? And I was the top trader. And he came in at the time when he joined our firm. And he said, after being there for about a year, he came to me and said, "Hey, I'm writing this book on trader performance. It's more about elite performers in every field, any field, let alone trading. Do you mind if I sit behind you for few months?" It turned out to be like a year almost, to see what makes you, not to see what I was doing, because he couldn't really even tell because I was just flipping orders all day long. He's like, "I just want to see what makes you unique, why you're elite." And I said, "Sure." So anyway, fast forward, got knocked out of the business, sitting in doctor's office waiting to kiss their asses, sitting in with sick people in doctor's offices waiting I was selling genetic testing, right? So he calls me 2017, 2018 and says, "Hey, you want to, I saw this software called Bookmap. It's like, you might want to take a look at it. It reminds me of when I sat behind you and how you viewed the markets and the orders. This lays it out in a different way." And the minute I brought this up and I saw it, I said, "Oh my God, I'm back. Like, this is how I need to interpret this. This instead of looking at this nonsense that means nothing anymore because the algo is just all fleeting. Seeing it this way, I'm back." And that was before the SI indicator. That was just with the heat map and everything else with the liquidity, and I'm back. Then Bruce told me about this. Bruce from Bookmap told me about the SI indicator stuff, not the zone jar, but this stuff, because the CME came out in 2017 with this enhanced data that shows the icebergs and stop runs. Then he told me for like 3 months, and I didn't really listen to him. And then he finally showed me. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen in futures trading, but bar none." And then to this day, that's the driver of my trading. So the point is, when I talk about my past, it's not bragging, right? No one brags about being a millionaire and then not being a millionaire, right? It's to tell you guys that trading changes. If you persevere and you're ready to adapt, you can fight through it, right? That's the moral of the story. So it's not me standing in front of a Lamborghini. It's me telling you that you can do it. And now I'm on my way back, right? I've been on my own forever. That's another segue, right? I was a multimillionaire. I'm not a multimillionaire anymore. I will be again, but I didn't have the funds to be funding these $50,000, $100,000 trading accounts, especially for each strategy. So that leads me to the best thing that you guys possibly can have if you don't have a trading firm that's backing you, is the Apex, right? So this is, actually, if we go through my website here, so nothing's really going on, guys. That's why I'm covering this stuff now. So go here. You can go straight to the website, but See here, any of these accounts. So this is a gift, right? And Apex is I've been using Apex for 3 years now for all these trading. So you see all these trading strategies, they all have a designated Apex account tied to them, right? So I do that to keep track of the stats and have this separated because I would just do all this in my mind. If you watched any of my past webinars like 5-6 years ago, I was doing all these just on one chart and people were like, what? So for my trade room, I've split these out to individual strategies, right? And they're all assigned an Apex account. Andy today that I blew out yesterday in this awesome trade. But the point is, guys, this is the best thing. I wanted to show you. Hold on here. Oh, it's right here. So any of these you can do. Use this coupon code. It'll give you 80%. Right now they do sales all the time. Whatever sales they got going on, that's what you get with this code, right? So I do the 150s and the 250s, right? I've been paid multiple times by them. There's people in my room that have been paid multiple times by them. I've been posting them lately. I actually took them off Twitter because I found out there's some kind of CFTC thing. You can't post like people's profits, and so I took them off. But you can come in my room, and they're pinned in my room. There's at least 4 or 5 guys that have been paid recently. They pay. Don't listen to the nonsense. Well, I also found out, if you guys have been seeing stuff, like I went to go put on a bond trade the other day, and it wouldn't let me put a bond trade on. I'm like, what's the deal? Then someone in my room posted that I guess these scammers found a loophole where they're able, in the bond market, where they're able to put orders in sim mode off the market and get fills. So I don't even want to know how much. And this wasn't just Apex. This was like all these other ones. I don't even want to know how many millions of dollars that these funding. That's soybeans again. That these funding firms lost on that game. So anyway, guys, when they do stuff like, so what they were doing is I don't know if you guys have seen that people were bitching about it on social media. Oh, they're asking me for a video proof of my trading. They were doing that because they were getting scammed with what people were doing, and they had to do it. So one of my room members had the video thing, and he submitted, and he got paid. But the point is, they're doing this stuff for a reason. They're not doing it because they don't want to pay. They're doing it because people are scamming them for millions of dollars. So just understand it. You Google it, you can find it. I'm not going to post the YouTube in here, but point is, this is the one that I put my name behind. They paid out. I've been using it for 3 years. I have my account set up to them. So I don't know why I got on that tangent. Just because I'm not fully capitalized. So that's why I started using these. And the other thing I would do on these webinars, and anyone who's seen my webinars, I do it all the time. You already seen like a couple missed trades today. By the way, we have some more sell ice coming in here, and he asked, let's combine these. And then I'll get back to that. So what you could do here, I don't think you have to combine these two. We can trade this one independently. I'm still going to go long off of this guy as long as this newest one doesn't prove bearish. And then there's stuff I can do off here too. So again, this is still the pick area. So there's a couple different things. I'll get back to this stuff in a little bit. There's a couple different things that I can do off of here, right? Depending on what happens. If the first volume event, that stop run, that Dumb and Dumber, if it turns out to be a Dumb and Dumber, this rejects, or the broken ice, I can take a pick long. If it gets inside this, and you do have sell ice coming in here, so that just helps the cause. Doesn't mean they're going to be right. If we get one of these, and I will wait for this, AT, because this is the pattern, especially market profile composites, it moves away, back, I'll take a pick short. So again, important area, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I might go long, I might go short. That's why I let the volume events tell me. So you can imagine, if you're just looking at charts, anyone can see this. So what do you do here? You going long or you going short? Well, it's pretty much a toss-up right now. That's why I don't know what I'm doing. I'm letting something that's happening real time in the market, the SI volume events, tell me what to do, right? So we were waiting to see what happens here. These markets are just sitting here. There's been nothing new in NASDAQ. I am short. Did I get filled in crude? So I'm short, and hey, I don't know if you've seen this one lately, especially members of my room, filled to almost to the exact tick. So I'm filled in that gold Izzy. My stop's at 2695.8. Again, trade feels terrible at highs, but I don't trade my feelings. I trade my system. 2695.
200 contracts.
All right, that's working. I am short crude. I should be short crude. Remember, I was waiting for it to come back. Hold on. I didn't even hear that fire off. Why am I not short crude? See, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? So I just talked about putting this trade on, and for some reason I didn't put the trade on. Oh no, it's down here. I'm sorry. It's working. My bad. All right, so I'm not short crude yet. Remember, I was going to short off of this Dumb and Dumber. You do have a new volume event, but that has not proved bullish, so I can still take the short off of that guy. So that's still working there. I was about to lose my mind that I missed another trade, but that's working. And then short gold filled pretty much to the tick and watching a whipsaw as usual. And then I don't know what I'm doing in ES. So anyway, what I was talking about, I forgot what I was talking about.
Fed bids for 4 week bills total 2.
Oh, anyway, yeah. So anyone who's watching my webinars, I make nothing but mistakes because I've got so much going on. So I got sick of. I do have my own trading accounts live. They're tiny. They're not big trading accounts. But my point is, I will be back because now I have a trading firm. They're backing the reversion strategy. That's already working, and now I'm trading a live account with them too. I got a lot going on. But the point is, I want you to realize that I did this and this. And I am on my way back. Damn it, can't change my color here to that because I have the proper, I know I have the edge. Now I have the funding. So Millionaire Trader is right around the corner. I will bet my ass on it. You can do the same thing if you're underfunded. This is the whole point of this, is to get one of these, and this is like having your own trading firm behind you. I just filled in the crude short, by the way. So this is the best one that I've seen. This is the one I put my name behind. So sorry for that rant. It's hard. I lose my concentration. I'm going back and forth here. A couple questions, and I'll cover the rest of this stuff. Thank you, Dominique, by the way. You got me started on that rant for the inspirational thing. I appreciate that. Nick L., you said Ludwig levels are also powerful confluence. What is the logic behind how Ludwig works? I don't know her parameters. I rarely put things in my trading that I don't understand why they're there, right? I trust me, I fought these things. There was a trader in my trade room. This was now 4 years ago, right? Kept telling me about these things. You got to see Ludwig levels. You got to see them. They're ridiculous, especially when you get a volume event on them. They're crazy. They're the best thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, well, what are they? He's like, it's proprietary. I'm like, well, I'm not trading something that I don't understand what it is. After watching these things work 5 million times, I'm like, okay, all right, I'm sold. I don't need to know how they work. So it's what's I'm trying to say the word proprietary. Sorry, but I don't really care. I just know. I liken it. I've used this analogy many times. Right, when you walk into a room and you need light, do you need to pull the light bulb out of the socket and figure out and take it apart to see how it works, or do you just flip the switch on? Right. Same thing with Ludwig levels. I don't need to know. I've watched them too many times work incredibly, and even when they break and form new lugs, that's still giving you information, right? So the point is, I don't know what it is. You can go ahead and email her. She's probably won't respond because it's her proprietary thing, right? So I don't know what makes them run, Nick, but I know they work, and I know they're the second most powerful thing I've seen next to the SI events in my career as far as trading futures. DK, same here, Scott. People who never had hundreds of thousands or millions have no idea what it feels like to lose it and start over again. Absolutely. It's not a good feeling, guys. I have a lot of PTSD, right? It's not a good feeling, but I persevere. So the number one thing I've always said, and I learned it from my friend told me that was when I first started trading too. This is my favorite saying, and it's on my Twitter. I've said it for 25 years, and it's the truth. Right here. Let's see, where's my profile? What does it say at the end of that? Those who endure conquer. Meaning you don't give up. You keep fighting. You keep fighting. They'll keep calling me. They'll keep calling me. That's very popular. Point is, you don't give up. If you endure, you'll conquer. And I've done my whole life. I've done nothing but persevere. You guys know my story when I first started my trading firm. I lost every day for my first 2 months. Every single day. I lost $2,500 my first day trading one lots, scalping. You know how hard that is to do? I was about to get fired my first day, right? But I kept fighting, and then one day the light went on, and I made a bet with the owner of my firm. This is when I just started making money, like tiny money, and I already knew that I had gotten it, right? Kind of like I know when I see something like this stuff, right? I knew the light went on. I knew I figured it out as far as my edge back then. I went in his office and I made him a bet that I would be the #1 trader. Remember, I was about to get fired. I'd be the #1 trader in 2002. The top trader at the time was named the Big Cheese. He made 2.2 million dollars in 2001, I think. Following year, I went from literally about to get fired, and I made $2.8 million in 2002, and I was the #1 trader. So my point is that that's one of my gifts. When I know I got it, and I can't tell you guys enough times that this is the best edge you will ever have in your trading. So again, you can go 20 years and try to figure it out yourself, or you can listen to me. Those are your two options. All right, I got filled on those crude shorts. Remember, I was long, out of long. Now I flipped short.
That's 11:30 a.m. Eastern time.
Again, crude's been an LB lately, a little B.
Bills, prior high yield 4 spots 7.
Stop is, remember I filled here,
8-7.
right around 79, and now my stop was going to be up here at 68.47. I can move it down to this new event. That's going to be 68.34. I got to put those in. And I am short. Oh, this is a pick trade too, right? I'm short. Actually, I need to be putting this on my live account here too. Hold on a second. I'm supposed to trade this with the trading firm too. I just can't do all this. This is how I make mistakes.
Order filled. Order filled.
Yeah, that's about right. So this was Izzy and Pick, right? I've already showed this, but I'll just keep going over it. Right? We got my important areas where I wait for events. This was my Izzy zone. It moved back into this zone. Volume event, took it. And then this was the pick trade too. So I got 2 trading strategies on the Apex accounts, and then I got my live account, and I'm supposed to have this on in the trading firm, but I can't get to it right now. Right.
Soybeans iceberg buy ZS 203 contracts. ZS short validated.
Right.
GC
There.
short retested.
Let me get this on. I don't want to miss this trade.
HG long validated.
Give me 1 second, guys. I got to put this on the trading account. So, because if I don't, I'm not being consistent, right? That's the whole point. Why is this not? All right, I'm short there too. And then stop is able to be trailed to 68.33. All right. Well, all right, I got to change that. It gets me a sound alert when I put a working order in. All right, so short crude. I still haven't done anything in ES. I did take that bark and lick earlier, and I missed it on Q short. We've already covered all that.
CL short validated.
This is an official short now, right? Remember, I was working longs. Remember, I was going to take the pick long here off of this guy. I had it working at 50 at the time. It was right here. That's canceled. Why? Because the most recent event is now a bearish event. So now what I can do is potentially take barks, licks, and picks off of this dude. And I am not excited about shorting these markets, but my strategies say to short, I am going to short. That would be entering into this. Well, let's see. Is the entry into that? It's going to be right on the cusp. Entry's at 88.25. Did this already do the ATR retest? Let's see. No. So I'm going to wait for the ATR retest, put on barks, licks, and the pick. And the pick is real marginal because the top of this zone is like 57.90-ish, right? I'm going to be entering at 88. So I'll take it, right? So I'm going to put the other issue is you got the blue lug here. So I'm going to this is not going to be a great risk reward trade, especially if I'm out at the lug, but I'm not going to mess around. Because you got, first of all, the markets are at all-time highs, and everyone buys every single dip. 2, you got blue lug. 3, that'll be extreme standard deviation of VWAP. 4, it's going to be point of control of that guy. So if I take this trade, I am going to be really watching closely at the blue lug. And the way you can do that, 1, I have tick strike. If this thing's going ape shit, as my grandpa used to say, meaning going crazy, selling, then I'll try to hold it through that area. The other thing you can use, this is another incredible thing from Bookmap, is market pulse. Actually, I might not even have to set up on this because of the change, so we'll do it quickly if I don't. Let's see, I think I do. Yeah, so the volume, pressure, and balance, right? So I use click on this, I use all default, except for I change it to an hour, the training period, that's the look back period. So if I get this thing spiking, let me get it populated here, I know it's the most buying or selling in the last hour, right? So my point is, if this gets down to that area, so say I get short here, I'm waiting for the ATR retest confirm. If I don't get it, I don't get it. I'm not putting those trades on otherwise. But say we move down to this 80 level, right? And this thing's going crazy. Well, I got my tick strike, and then I got market pulse. They're kind of one and the same. Actually, market pulse, Bookmap developed market pulse per my request to get something better than tick strike. I still like tick strike, but Bookmap market pulse is tick strike on steroids times 100, right? So the point is, I'll watch this. This is firing off, especially with these Mag 7 stocks and obviously the futures. And then if this thing is getting hit and I'm seeing extreme selling, well, then I can maybe try to hold through that 5780 area. If this thing is quiet and this isn't firing off, I will be out at that area. Blue lug, point of control, and extreme standard deviation of VWAP. You can see, and here's liquidity down here too. This is another one of my areas. So when I'm talking about these areas, these are all areas that I am consistently getting out of my trade per trading in the zone. I already showed this earlier. Number 5, I pay myself as the market makes money available to me. So this will be like 4 different things once that gets down there. It'll be a Ludwig level. It'll be a market profile composite point of control. It'll be a VWAP extreme standard deviation. It'll be, if it bounces, it's a struggle to get through heavy resting liquidity. So there's 4 different things down there. Oh, and a spot gamma level. So there's 5 things down here. I am not messing around. So if I do end up putting this short on, and it might not happen before the end of this webinar, I'm still waiting for the retest confirmed per my rules. I will short there, and this I will watch this area very, very close. I mean, if it even sniffs bouncing, I'm getting out of the trade. Right, so risk reward wise, it's not a great trade, because if I put this trade on, they're not always like this, obviously. I'm entering at 88.50, my stop's at 05.50. Well, that's 17 points of risk, right? Well, risking 8 or 17 to make 8, you're probably not going to be around as a trader very long. In this instance, I'm not going to so this is my point with the R trades, right, guys? I understand the R's. I understand the concept behind R, and when you trade, you want to try to get 3R or more, 2 to 3R or more, risk reward, right? I fully understand that. This would be I'm risking 1 to make a half. You're not going to make it overall in trading. But that, just because I want 3R doesn't mean I ignore important areas. That's nonsensical, right? So the point is, yeah, I want 3R too, but if it starts to falter at important areas, I'm out. I don't care if it's half R or not. So that's the fallacy in the R thing. You don't just put on trades and hope it goes to 3R. That's imposing your will on the market, in my opinion. Again, you guys can do what you want, but we do have a trade that doesn't wait for the ATR to the zone. It's one of the brand new strategies. It's called the auto fade trade. It's called TikTok. This works about 90% of the time. Doesn't happen very often. When you get it, it's when you get an NYSE tick extreme. That's when you can trade the YMRES or NQ tick extreme. The minute you hear the extreme, I have that set up on Thinkorswim here. Right. So if it tags plus 1,000 or minus 1,000, that's a tick extreme. If I hear an event, I just jump in opposite, because pretty much every time it's going to bounce, because you have these algos that love to play. You got to be very careful on days where it just keeps tagging. That's when you have program selling or buying, and you'll keep hearing it, and you're not going to get the auto fade. You may get run over, but that's just like trading. You don't know which ones are going to work. You put them all on. The point is, just be careful on days you see heavy relative volume and it keeps tagging it. You probably don't want to take the TikTok trade. Other than that, say if this tagged this and I got an event, I would jump in immediately. I don't need to see the ATR. So that's the best type of R trade that you're going to get, and it's great. They just don't get them very often. There was one yesterday I caught, but you don't get them very often. All right, of course, I'm about to get stopped out of this crude trade. Goodness gracious, this market, I might have to put this market on the bench. This thing has just run me ragged lately. All right, so there you go, stopped out. I'm so glad I got that in the trading firm too.
Shortly expecting the results.
So once again, guys, I can't. This has probably happened to me. I said it earlier. It's probably 30 times now. Exact tick fill, stopped out. So it sucks. So you got to make one or two choices. I keep telling you guys, you got to keep putting the trade on. there's something going on with crude lately. I don't know what it is. It's, you know, I don't mean you got to keep just getting your head kicked in, right? If things aren't working in there, and I'm talking like, this isn't one or two trades. I'm talking all week. This market has just been a whipsaw pain in the ass. You may just say, you know what, I'm going to wait. There's something bigger picture going on. I'm just not going to trade that market right now. That's why I tell you guys all the time to hop over to other markets, right? These events, doesn't matter what market you're trading as long as you know the threshold. And if you have the zone drawing tool, it tells you the thresholds. So you can trade soybeans. I guarantee you I've missed. So I put on that loser. Let's see what I missed in soybeans today because they kept telling me to go over there and I never went over there. I'm still short gold, by the way. That's about to get stopped out too. So both these markets, I mean, this just sucks. And once again, filled the tick, probably gonna get stopped out. But I'm not. My stop's up here. If it stops me out, it stops me out. I don't say, well, it's probably gonna stop me out and get out. I just let it stop me out. So what did I miss here? You can see all this buy ice coming in. This entire move down. Let's just take a quick look, and then actually I'm right at the time too, guys. So I'm not gonna have really time to go over this. Yeah, I mean, you could take Izzy's off of this. I just didn't do anything in here. But it never, see, this is another thing, right? The Izzy zone, these events not one of these has gone bullish. So I would have never been long, even though it was an Izzy, buy ice in the Izzy zone. You see, not one of these events has moved out of here bullish. So this is how I avoid not getting in trades until those, prove otherwise. All right, I'm real tired of crude. Looking at that, or I'm probably not going to trade that the rest of the week. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so what I'm waiting for here in ES, I will put on pick, bark, and lick shorts. I'm waiting for that. I need to tag that level. Be careful, that's not the price. This is the price at the bottom of the zone. We're talking 10% of an ATR in front of the zone, so 94.50. So if per my rules, this tags 94.50, comes back, I'm earning at 88.5. Remember what we just talked about? I'd watch this area very closely. If it starts to bounce there at all, I'm out of the trade. And again, so I missed the trades I missed, huge winners, and the trade I put on was a loser. We did catch a crude winner earlier. I'm just pissed because I didn't put that one on in the trading firm, of course. That is a perfect example of being erratic with your trading, right? Random trading. I didn't put the winner on and I put the loser on. So put them all on is what I'm trying to tell you. And then we missed this trade in NASDAQ earlier. That was a whopper. So hopefully everyone caught some of those. Hopefully you guys are learning. That's the point of these webinars, guys. It's not to mirror my trades. It's to understand this stuff, understand the power of the stuff, how to trade them, and then apply it to your own trading. So I do this every day in my trading room, twice a day, most times, unless the trade sucks. I won't do a PM webinar if the trade sucks, but and it's been sucking lately. So that's it. I didn't get a chance to go through the rest of this stuff, but it's all in here. Website, email, trade room. All these links you get discounts to. We didn't get into Spot Gamma today. You can get 2 weeks free. Now they got the trace. You can get that. Just use code Scott. And then Tick Strike, all this stuff. You get discounts, Ludwig levels to tell her
GC disqualified.
do the 3-day trial and tell her you saw on the Bookmap webinar. You'll get special pricing. All right, guys. I will just be careful out there. I would probably be very careful with crude and gold because they're just really annoying lately. And I will see you guys next Thursday.